Jungkook becomes the only Asian male artist in Apple Music's Met Gala-Worthy Albums list. Hello ARMY. There are moments in time when the world doesn't need noise to be shaken. Moments when a single name rises, not from headlines, not from controversies, not from a press tour or a viral tweet, but from the echo of music that refuses to be ignored. This is one of those moments. This is Jungkook's moment. While millions of fans waited in quiet anticipation, while the global music scene moved on with its usual hustle, and while he, Jeon Jungkook, remained far from the spotlight, away in the barracks of military service, the world remembered. And more than that, the world honored him. An unexpected honor. Apple Music, one of the most powerful digital music platforms on the planet, released a list that stunned the global community. It wasn't a chart. It wasn't about the number of streams or sales. It was a curated recognition. A celebration of artistry, elegance, and timeless sound. The list was called Met Gala-Worthy Albums. A symbolic title, because the Met Gala isn't just an event. It's a declaration of elite artistry, of flawless presentation, and of bold, fearless expression. It's a stage reserved only for those who redefine beauty, style, and influence. To say an album is Met Gala-worthy is to say it belongs in the halls of the artistic elite. On this list, you'll find names like Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, Harry Styles, Lana Del Rey, SZA. And then, you find one name that stands apart. Jungkook. The only Asian male artist on the list. The only one from Korea. The only one who didn't need to speak, because his music had already spoken. The journey from silence. There's a quiet irony in this moment. While the world sang his praises, Jungkook was silent. Not by choice, but by duty. Serving his country as part of South Korea's mandatory military enlistment, Jungkook had no active promotions. No interviews. No performances. No media appearances. Yet, somehow, his music still found its way to the top. This wasn't the result of a PR campaign. This wasn't driven by marketing dollars or manipulated algorithms. This was pure, unfiltered resonance. The kind of recognition that doesn't need a stage, because it lives in the hearts of people who pressed play, again and again, and felt something real. Golden, more than an album. Golden was Jungkook's debut solo album. But calling it a debut feels like an understatement. It wasn't a first step, it was a leap. A leap into individuality. A leap into global artistry. A leap into musical freedom. With tracks like 7, a bold, sensual pop anthem with a magnetic hook that took over the charts. Standing Next to You, an elegant throwback to funk and soul, evoking the spirit of legends. 3D, experimental, catchy, and boundary-pushing. Yes or No, intimate, delicate, and vulnerable. Jungkook didn't just showcase his voice. He showcased his vision. He brought in producers from around the world. He crafted songs that felt like chapters in a personal diary. He wove stories of longing, desire, confidence, and melancholy, all into a perfectly curated body of work. Golden was cohesive, polished, and deeply artistic. No gimmicks. No fillers. Just pure expression. And perhaps that's why it landed on the Met Gala-Worthy Albums list. Because it wasn't made to impress. It was made to connect. And it did. Redefining what it means to be global. For decades, the global music industry has been dominated by Western artists. To break through from outside the West, especially as an Asian male artist, is a rare feat. To do so without promotion, while serving in the military, is nearly unheard of. And yet, Jungkook did exactly that. He didn't just break into the global market. He walked into the halls of artistry and made a seat for himself, among the very best. He became a benchmark. Not just for Korean artists. Not just for K-pop. But for any artist who believes that quality can transcend geography. Jungkook proved that being global isn't about speaking English. It's not about where you're from. It's not even about breaking records. It's about reaching hearts, in any language, in any culture. A moment for ARMY, for Asia, and for the world. For ARMY, BTS's global fandom, this moment meant more than pride. It was personal. They had watched Jungkook grow from a shy teenager to a powerhouse performer. They had seen his doubts, his insecurities, his relentless work ethic. And now, in his silence, he was honored in a way few artists ever are. This wasn't just about the award. This was about validation. Validation that his journey, and theirs, was meaningful. That the world was finally listening not just to the loudest, but to the most sincere. And for Asia? It was a cultural moment. It was a reminder that Asian artistry isn't just good for an Asian artist. It's just good. Period. What comes next? The question now lingers in the air. If Jungkook's silence can command this much global attention, if his quiet debut can sit beside the biggest names in music, if he can shift the conversation without saying a word, what will happen when he returns? What kind of art will he create? What stages will he conquer next? What new standards will he set? Because one thing is certain. This is not his peak. This is his foundation. And from here, Jungkook isn't just rising. He's rewriting the definition of what it means to be a star. Message to viewers. Jeon Jungkook is not just an artist. He is a story. Of growth, of discipline, of grace, of excellence. He is a living reminder that hard work speaks louder than hype. Music is stronger than borders. And sometimes, silence is the loudest declaration of all. Today, the world gave him his flowers. Not for trending. Not for spectacle. But for the art. And as he continues his journey, one thing is clear. This is only the beginning. A beginning not marked by charts or trophies, but by something far more powerful, a connection. A connection between an artist and the world. Between one voice and millions of hearts. Thank you, truly, for joining us in celebrating this unforgettable milestone. Whether you've been here since the very first note or you just discovered his music today, you are now part of something timeless. Something that transcends language, distance, and time zones. Something built not just with melodies, but with meaning. If you found yourself smiling, crying, or simply feeling more human because of this journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because this isn't just a performance. It's a movement. A movement led by an artist who doesn't chase the spotlight, he becomes it. Effortlessly. Quietly. Unforgettably. This is Jungkook. A name known around the world, yet a soul who still humbly bows. An icon of his generation, yet still the same boy from Busan who dreamed under the stars. An artist who needs no introduction. And yet, every time he steps on stage, every time he breathes life into a song, he somehow finds a way to amaze all over again. So stay with us. Keep listening. Keep watching. Because the voice you just heard, the feeling you just felt, that's not an ending. That's a promise. This is